to a semi-supine position, which simply means that your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor. I'm going to move my ponytail. All right. And then we're just going to take a few moments to settle, tune in. So allow the feet to mold into the floor. Settle your pelvis down, backs of your shoulders, and if they're feeling a bit like they're hoiking up towards the ears today, grab hold of the sides of the mat and just, shuffle them down a little bit so they feel a little bit more connected to the floor. Rest the arms by your side. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Just tune in. How are you feeling today? What's going on with your body? What's going on with your head? Your thoughts? How you're feeling? All good things to pay attention to, observe, without any judgment. And then we're going to use our breath just to let them go, put them way in the background so we can enjoy some time for movement and MOT. So inhale and exhale, in and out through the nose if you can. Obviously, if something's going on today that's preventing you, just breathe in a way which is comfortable. So we're going to count the breath today. Well, we're going to give it a go. So I want you to inhale on a count to 3. Taking the breath down to the ribcage, as if you're blowing up an internal balloon, and then exhale for 3, emptying that balloon out. So inhale for 3. Exhale for 3. And get a little rhythm going. We're going to try and keep it going for the whole of the class. And if anything disturbs you, sound, thought, just go back to the breath. Go back to your count. We've got 5 more. Last one. Okay, continue the count, my lovelies, and then we're going to pick up the feet, hang on to the knees, and we're just going to warm up the hips. So on an exhale, draw the knees to the chest, and then as you inhale, push them apart and away from you. So just drawing circles with the knees. Try and keep that count. So exhale for 3 as you pull the knees in, and then inhale for 3 as you draw the circles away. This is going to make you slow everything down, so you're really mindful about what you are doing. We're going to reverse the circle now. So inhale, push away for 3, and then exhale, bring the knees back in. Okay, last one. Well done, guys. We're moving on after this. Okay, keep hold of your right knee, and then we're going to slide the left leg out. Okay, I know what I'm doing is opposite to you, but if I get a chance to repost, I'll mirror it so you'll see in the right leg. So take an inhale, For your 3, as you exhale, draw the knee in and reach the left leg away, rolling that inner thigh down to the floor. Give me another 2 breaths here. So really stretching the back of the glutes here and opening across the hip. And then from here, we're going to rebend the left leg. You're going to keep the right leg bent. Hold on to the back of the thigh, the shin, or even the big toe or the foot, wherever feels good. And we've got 3 breaths here. So this is half happy baby. You're going to guide the front of that right thigh down towards the mat. Another smashing hip opener. Now as you do this, really root the pelvis down. Don't let the tailbone come off the floor, and try and soften your arm bone into the mat as well. Also notice if you're gritting your teeth or anything, try and let that go as well. Okay, amazing. Release. And then let's take it to the other side. So hugging the left knee and slide the right leg out, rolling that inner thigh down and really energizing through the toes of the foot and the ball of the foot. Inhale for 3. Exhale, draw that left knee in towards your left shoulder. Again, notice if you're starting to bring intention around the shoulder. It's very easy to do, so don't worry if that's happening to you. You just give yourself permission to let it go. And then we're going to come into this happy baby on the other side. So get a really nice bend, ankle above the knee, and then we're just guiding the front of the thigh towards the floor, but keeping the pelvis really anchored. Don't let it start rolling around. So don't stress about how far you've got to go. Just feel the stretch in the front of your hip. That's the important thing, that space that you're creating there. Are you still counting your breath? You're human, you will forget it, so don't worry. Just come back whenever you've realised you've lost your count. Smashing. Right, release it and either roll over to the side or come to a little rock and roll kind of movement to get yourself up to seated, and then to all fours. So we're going to do a few cat-cows. Repair my ponytail a bit. And then we can get going. So spread the fingers, spread the toes, shins firmly rooted into the floor. And gently push the floor away, and then lengthen your tailbone towards the back of the knee, so you're nice and long. With an inhale, we're going to reach the chest through, tailbone moves back and up. You can gaze up, and then exhale, moving from the tailbone, lengthen it down towards the backs of the knees, lift up through the sides of the waist, relax the head as you exhale into cat. We're just going to flow through the 2. Still keeping to the count of 3 if you can. And you're probably going to do a better job than me because I'm talking, so I'm going to lose count a lot. So, don't rely on me. Rely on yourselves just to keep that rhythm going. It's the rhythm that really does soothe your soul. It really just helps you just forget about everything else that's going on at the moment. All right, last one. Super job. Okay, and then from here, curl the toes under. Let's try downward facing dog, our first one. So press the fingers down and forward, wrap the upper arms towards one another. Shoulder blades or the bottom tips drawing down and towards the front of your chest, so they're not spilling up towards your ears. And then you can walk it out. And then just work out how your hamstrings are feeling this morning. Imagine what you guys have been up to. All right, take a look to the front and then try and keep your legs as straight as possible. So you're trying to pull the top of the leg bone into its socket and walk towards the front of your mat. When you get there, bend the knees and drape your torso down for a nice relaxed forward fold. If you want to, you can interlace the fingers, open up through the shoulders, have a little sway. Are you still breathing? Are you still doing your count? Okay, lovely. Take an inhale. As you exhale, drop the tailbone, relax the head, curl yourself up. I'm going to finish with a couple of shoulder rolls at the top. All right, so we're going to flow. This whole thing is just going to be flowing, a lot of repetitive movements. I'm going to try and keep it to that count of 3. All right, so coming to Tadasana Mountain Pose. Find some length in the spine, rooting into the earth. Find your connection. All right, and then with your next inhale, let's bring it on up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Now if you press the hands on the shins as you reach forward, it gives you quite a good connection with your lower core. So just give it a little go. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back into plank. Dropping the knees if you need to. I'm just going to hold here for 3 breaths. Just get some warmth going. So really, if you're up, if the knees are up, reach back through the inner and outer heels. Lift the kneecaps. Push the floor away. Draw the sides of the body up. And then if you're kneeling, draw the sides of the body up. Soften those front ribs in. Okay, well done. So from here, take an exhale, drop the knees, and then lower yourself onto your belly. I'm going to come up into Sphinx pose for a Sphinx roll, which is just a version of a plank, really. So it's going to work your abdominals. So spread the fingers, pull the elbows back. Now we're going to take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to lift up through the sides of your waist until your thighs come off the floor, but your knees and your shins and your toes stay on the floor. Now curl your tailbone down towards the floor and pull the pubic bone towards the navel. Draw the front ribs in. Okay, stay here and breathe. You've got 5 breaths here. So count, exhale for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Inhale. 3 more times. Exhale. 2 more times. You still pulling up, navel to spine, curling that tailbone down, getting as much rounding as you can. We're lengthening through that lower back. All right, lovely. Take an inhale. Come into Sphinx. Exhale. Bring yourself down. Hands by the ribs. And then exhale. Child's pose. Take a breath here. Exhale. And then curl the toes under. Let's find downward facing dog. So we've got 1 breath here. You can still move around with this dog if you want to, or you can find a stillness if you're ready. And then inhale, step the legs towards the front again. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Bring it up. Exhale, we're going straight back down. So forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. This time step back into plank straight away. Knees up or down. And then we're going to lower as well straight away. So coming back to the Sphinx on the inhale. So we're going to step it up a gear if you want to. So we're going to start in Sphinx roll, and then we're going to curl the toes under for forearm plank. All right, so just a little bit of heat building and core stability. So take an inhale, exhale. Let's come into that Sphinx roll. So really scoop the tailbone down. And you're really trying to pull up the navel, soften the front ribs in. And then hold this. If you're coming with me to forearm plank, you just curl the toes under and lift the knees. All right, 5 breaths. So you should be feeling some shakes. I hope you are anyway. If you're feeling the shakes, it means you're doing it right, which is good. 2 more breaths. Okay, wait for your inhale. Come back down to Sphinx. And then the same little flow. Exhale to lower. Pressing back into child's pose. Take an inhale and an exhale. And then inhale up and back into downward facing dog. Exhale. Take 1 full breath here. And then we're inhaling. We're going to walk it to the front again. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Okay, so we've got 1 more round of this. Taking it up a gear again if you want to. Exhale, fold. So inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back with the other leg this time. Plank and lower down straight away. Knees up or down, you choose. And then inhale, Sphinx pose. All right, so from here, we're going to straight away, we're going to wait for an exhale, and then we're going to come up into our Sphinx roll. All right, and then from here, I'm going to show you the different levels that you can do. So I want you to bring your hands so they're in line with your elbows, so just close in the gate. And then we're going to do some rolling planks. So if you're going to stay on your knees, which I would advise if you're new, you're just going to swivel to the left and then float the left arm up. Exhale, come to center, swivel to the right, float the right arm up. Now keep that connection with your core. Don't let the hips sag while you're doing this. All right, so that's beginner's option. If you want a harder version, you simply lift the knees and you do exactly the same, but your knees are not on the floor. So inhale as you lift the arm, exhale as you center. So we're going to do 2 more each side. So I'll let you count. You'll know where you are, and just make sure you do an even amount on both sides. Really push up through the bottom hip as well. That will get a little bit more side waist activation. And when you finish, use the inhale, revisit Sphinx. All right, so we've got a little bit of arm work before we get going again, just to warm everything up. So I want you to really feel like you're pulling the bottom tips of your shoulder blades down and then guiding them towards the front of your chest. Another way of thinking about it is to imagine that your outer shoulder blades are wrapping towards your under armpit chest area. So once you've got that set up, your shoulders should feel a long way away from your ears and your neck should feel nice and free. And then all we're going to do is going to curl the tailbone down, engage the glutes. So just guide them, wrap them downwards until you feel them switch on. And then on the inhale, we're going to just breathe normally on this. So don't worry about the count for now. We're just going to come up and down. Now as you come up and down, start to really squeeze the inner elbows together. Now it doesn't look like you're doing much, but this is going to kick in quite quickly. So you should feel this in the triceps, backs of the arms. Really good way to work this area of the body. You may also feel it in your under armpit area as well, which is good. Give me 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Take an inhale for 3. Exhale, lower down. Hands by your ribs as you inhale. And then exhale, child's pose. Take a full breath once you get there. Find your count again if you lost it. All right, and then when you're ready, inhale it up, downward facing dog. All right, so we're going to step forward again. So wait for your next inhale, walk it to the top. Exhale, take it into a fold. And then inhale, come on up. And then exhale, hands by your side. All right, so we're going to come into a chair flow. So it's going to be our first little repeated movement with a repeated flow, sorry. So we're going to come into chair on an inhale. So the key to this is to sit back, lengthen your tailbone down. And the arms can be at shoulder height or reaching up. Now everything we've done so far, I want you to repeat it. So wrap those outer shoulder blades towards your under armpit and then reach. Spiral the upper arms towards one another, meaning your triceps. And then bring the weight back so you can see your toes. Now on an exhale, we're going to bend and then we're going to bring the arms up and behind us, pressing an imaginary ball, so you're squeezing them together. And then inhale, chair. Exhale, come up and back, squeeze your ball. Inhale, chair. So 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. You've got a few more. Okay, 2 more. Now your legs should be starting to talk to you. And last one. Okay, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, let's step back, lower down, knees up or down. You know, if you're used to yoga, you can add a little chaturanga in if you want to. And then we're all going to drop down and take a cobra. So squeeze the elbows in, chest moves forward. Don't forget to hug that tailbone down. And then exhale, make your way back into downward facing dog. All right, so we're moving on now. So with your next inhale, let's lift the right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Okay, we've got one more. Try and keep to your 3-count rhythm. Exhale, knee to nose, and then step it forward between the hands. So we're going to come up to a high lunge. Now, if you need to drop the knees, that's absolutely fine to come on up. In fact, I'd advise that if you know you're new to this. Otherwise, get yourself up there and get settled in your lunge. Find your 3-count breath here. All right, and then we're going to do a little flow here. So on the exhale, we're going to come into cactus. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, come on up. So it's just a little heart opener. Keep the legs strong, squeeze the inner thighs together. Last one. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Take an inhale, find your plank pose, or take it through a vinyasa. You can skip this bit by just go straight back into downward facing dog, or dropping the knees and come into a child's pose. Otherwise, drop the knees and the chest to the floor, or take a chaturanga. Drop to cobra, which we've just done, or you can take an up dog and then exhale, downward facing dog. I'm going to pause here just for a couple of breaths, so you can drop it down to child's pose again if that feels good. I'll let you know when we're ready to rock and roll. Reconnect to that 3 count if you need to. All right, and then we're going to do the other side. So if you're in child's pose, pop up to downward facing dog, or if you found that knee to nose quite difficult, you can do it on your knees. You can drop down and just do it on your knees. Gets the same result. All right, take an inhale. Left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Last one, inhale up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step it through. Come up to a high lunge your way. And if you're finding yourself a bit wobbly today, just widen the feet. All right, that can really help with balance. But make sure everything's working as well. So hug those outer hips in. The inner thighs are hugging in as well. Lengthen your tailbone down. Soften the front ribs in. So you've got good connection with your core. And then let's do 4 rounds of that little arm movement. So exhale. Into cactus, inhale. Calming up. Exhale. And inhale. 2 more. Keep your range of movement, whichever feels comfortable, whichever's working for you today. Okay, and then exhale, hands to the floor. And just step back into dog for this one. Pedal it out. Unravel your mat. It's getting a few wrinkles like mine. All right, so we're going to go back to the right. We're moving on. So we're going to inhale the right leg up high. So keep it in level with your hips. And then exhale, draw that knee towards your nose and then step it through. All right, so we're going to come up into that lunge again. So inhale it up. Remember, you can drop the back knee. And then we're going to swivel round, okay? So the back foot's going to be facing the long edge of your mat. Front foot's facing the short edge. We're going to come into Warrior Two. So once you settle there, find that 3 count breath. All right, so your feet are your best friend with this pose. So really root down through the little pinky side of your back foot. Press the top of the thigh towards the back of you. And then scoop your right sit bone under so that your knee heads towards your little pinky. All right, now if it's still bowling inwards, let the back hip roll forward a little bit. All right, you want your knee to be safe. And then you can bring the arms out. The inner shoulder blades towards one another and wrap the outer shoulder blades towards your armpits. Okay, so now we've got our count. We're going to flow this. So on an inhale, I'm going to come up. Exhale, come back down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Exhale. All right. And from here, we're going to straighten the legs, bring the heels together and the toes apart. So we're going to come into goddess pose. So you're sinking straight down with this one. So it's not like a sumo squat. You sink straight down and you press your knees back as much as you can by squeezing the glutes under. So get down as far as you can go. And I like to do a little bit of movement with this one. Just gives me the illusion that I might be sinking down lower. Bring your hands into prayer and press the finger pads. And that will help you connect back with those shoulder blades. Keep them on the back ribs. All right, now we've got 20 little pulses. So just breathe, however, don't worry about the count. Here we go, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Can you get down any lower? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze to come up. Whoops. Try not to lose balance like me. Turn the toes in. And I'm going to come into a wide leg forward fold. So lift up through the kneecaps. We're going to try and hinge from the hips. So scoop the belly in. Lengthen your chest towards me. Heart towards me. Heart towards me. Heart towards me. Scoop the inner thighs up and away from one another. And then that will help you drop down. Now, if you can't reach the floor, you can bend the knees and just create a little ragdoll position. Otherwise, if your fingers are down there, keep the legs straight. Reach the heart forward, and then on an exhale, fold down. Got 3 breaths here, so go back to your count. Okay, we're going to walk it back to the front. So we're going to just turn to the front of our mat. Right leg's forward, left leg is back. And take a runner's lunge. And then again, I'll give the option, take it through vinyasa if you want to. So it's plank, knees, chest or chaturanga, your back bend of choice, and then down dog. Otherwise, you come plank and then down dog. All right, so whatever you're doing, I'll meet you there. And don't worry about skipping this out, okay? It's just there if, you know, you fancy it in your practice today. Okay, so let's take a breath in our down dog. Got the other side to do now. So we're going to inhale, the left leg up high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, find your runner's lunge. And then exhale, warrior 2. All right, so the aim of warrior 2 is to give your whole of your legs, you know, a good tone up basically. So try and get as wide as possible with the legs so that your ankles are underneath your wrists. So that when you bend your leg, you've got a better chance of getting that 90-degree angle. But don't force it, it will gradually come. The more important thing is that that knee tracks the second toe towards the little pinky side of the foot. And then bring your arms out. Find that count. All right, so with your next inhale, let's straighten. Exhale. Come back down. Now keep looping those glutes under, lifting the hip points in and up, softening the front ribs in. This is 3. Inhale up. Exhale, 4. Take a breath. And then straighten up back to the goddess. Excuse me, as you see my back end, I do apologise. So make sure the knees are again over the feet and not inside. So really pull the knees back in space, hands in prayer, and get as deep as you want to go. Ooh. Scoop the butt cheeks under, but keep the tailbone lengthening down. Like you've got a heavy, 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 heavy leopard tail. Now we're going to play around with this now. So we're going to lift one heel and lower, and then lift the others. Now try and keep as deep as you can. And don't worry about the counting breath at the moment, because otherwise you'll have too much to think about. Alright, so it's going to work through your calves. You can feel it in your legs, your inner thighs. Alright, 2 more each side. And then if you want to, I'm going to try and lift both heels up. So, and lower. Give it 3 more goes. Don't worry if it goes wrong. My legs are burning. I hope yours are too. All right, well done. Come on up. And I'm going to repeat that forward fold. So turn the toes in, knees bent or straight, you do you, and bring yourself down. And we're going to reconnect to our little count. So inhaling for 3, and then exhaling for 3. Inhale. And if your body wants to move with the breath, you just go ahead and let it. Just concentrate on getting the breath down to that bottom of your ribs. So we get the diaphragm to work really well. All right, turn to the front of your mat. So left foot in front, right foot behind. Let's come back to that runner's lunge. All right, and then I'm going to take it back into a vinyasa if you want to. So step back, find your plank, child's pose, downward dog, or knees, chest, chaturanga, cobra up dog, and down dog, or child's pose. All right, take a moment here. All right, so we've got one more little standing flow with the breath to do, and then we'll come onto the floor. So this isn't going to take very long, but it's really one of my favorite poses for pelvic health, you know, making sure the position of your pelvis is, you know, nice and aligned. So we're going to start with the right leg. We're going to step it forward. And then we're going to bring the left foot, to the floor at an angle about 10 o'clock in the morning. All right, roughly there. And make sure that the feet are at least hip width apart for this. All right, and then you'll be able to maneuver the pelvis a lot easier. I hope that makes sense. Your fingertips are on the floor. And then once you're there, I want you to find the big toe mount, press it down into the floor and start to straighten the leg. Now watch where your knee goes with this. Just take a moment to look at your knee, and if it's rolling inwards, just imagine that you're spiraling the inner thigh towards the outer thigh, and then you'll feel those your leg muscles start to connect better. And then once you're here, try and hang on to that. Suck the right leg into the socket by pressing your foot down and forward. I hope that makes sense. So suck the right knee into the socket by pressing your right foot down and forward, and then you're dropping your left hip down in space. Zip the inner thighs together. That will help you get the motion as well. Make sure all your legs are working, and then hold on to that. Take an inhale, reach your sternum forward, your chest forward. Draw the pit of your belly in, and then exhale, fold over that front leg. Inhale, and then exhale. That 3 count coming back. Last time, inhale, exhale. And then we're going to hang out here for another 3 breaths in our finished position. Should be getting a really intense stretch at the back of your front leg. If it's too much, bend the knee. Absolutely fine. All right, to come out, just walk your hands a bit forward, Scooby-Doo the back leg away from you. And then we're going to drop the back knee. We're going to come into pigeon from here. So you're going to walk the right foot to the left side of the mat and just let the shin land where it wants to. All right? Make sure that your back leg is nice and straight so that your hip is in line with your knees, in line with your ankles. So rolling the inner thigh up is going to help with that. Guide the tailbone down, lift the hip points up, and just hang out here just for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to walk it forward and down. All right, now this version of pigeon is not for everybody. So if it's not registering well with your back, then just come onto your back and do it in a supine version. All right, so you take the right ankle over the left knee, and then you're pulling in the left shin, keeping your tailbone on the floor, and you'll get the same stretch. It's just in a safer place for your back. So we're here for another 3 breaths. So wherever you are, find that 3 count in 3 count out. Oh, I could stay here all day with this stretch. I love it. All right, so if you're on the floor, then you can just rock and roll it back up and get yourself back to downward facing dog. If you're in pigeon, come back up, curl the back toes under, and then you can step back into dog that way. All right, so second side. So we're going to inhale, left leg up, exhale, step it forward, and then you are taking the right foot flat, and it's about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon as a guideline. Check that your feet are hip distance, and you can also shorten the stance, okay? Play around with it. So, just work out what is going to work for you and your body. And then find that big toe mount. And the reason I say that is because it helps you to stop locking your knee, and I'm very prone to that, so I always be very, very mindful. And then once you really root in that big toe mount down, you can start to straighten. Watch the position of the knee and find that wrap, that spiral. Pull the head of the left leg bone back in space as you drop the right. Okay, and it's worth looking back at yourself in a mirror when you do this, because sometimes we think our pelvis is straight, and then we look back and we think, oh grief, I was really wonky. So just do your best with what you got now. Hug those inner thighs together. That will really help you. You'll feel the shift as you squeeze them in or scissor them in. And let's do that 3 count flow. So inhale, reach the heart forward. Looping those shoulder blades on the back, and then exhale, fold. And notice which side feels better. One side will be a little bit more easier to do. Exhale, fold. Put one more. Inhale. Exhale. 3 breaths here. The legs still working, you still scissoring the inner thighs. Okay, lovely. Scooby do the right leg back this time. Send it back, and then go into your version of pigeon. Okay, so if you're going to come onto the back, it's left ankle on top of right knee. Otherwise, get that right leg back as much as possible. Roll the inner thigh up. Lengthen the tailbone down. Find that connection with your core, and then melt your body forwards. And again, just like we did in the last pose, think about pulling the left hip back in space and dropping the right hip down. Those 2 actions just help you level up your pelvis and help you correct any asymmetries that you might have. Okay, 2 more breaths. Okay, and then if you're in supine pigeon, so you're on your back, come on up to downward facing dog when you're ready. And then we're going to curl our back toes under if you're in our seated pigeon, and come back to downward dog that way. So once you're there, pedal it out. And then drop down to your knees. So we're heading towards the part where we finally need our strap. Hooray! So grab onto it, or your towel, or a sock will work today. And stretch your legs out for me. So press down through your hands. Find that scooping up of, or drawing in of your hip points, up and in, lengthening your back body and getting that little vacuum through your abdominals, your trunk. And then press down into your hands. Loop the shoulders, so draw the outer shoulders towards those armpits, inner shoulder blades together, and then gently draw the back of the throat to the back of the neck. Yeah, and just feel the difference in this posture to what you might usually do. And don't sweat it. You should see my posture on occasions. It's not good. Alright, so we're going to come into a chest opener now, just to undo all the downward dogs that we've been doing, etc. So I'm going to give you a choice of 2 leg positions. So you can do the traditional or the not so traditional. So traditional, we're going to take the right leg under the left so that the knees cross. Alright, and ideally both sit bones should be able to melt on the floor with this. If this doesn't feel comfortable, or you have got really like tight hips this morning, you can just cross the shins. Alright, so you just loosen it. So, you know, you choose which one will suit you this morning. I'm feeling a bit tight. I did go for a run this morning, so this is probably going to do me the world of good. All right, and then bring your belt and take it into the right hand, if you're using one. We're going to come into a little tricep stretch first of all. So it's just going to help guide that right elbow to move up towards the ceiling. Now watch what happened to your shoulders just then. Did they suddenly come up with you in the effort to get your elbow up? Take a conscious decision to lower them. Find your 3 count breath. And then release the left arm and take it behind you. And you may be able to interlace the fingers. However, if that's not happening without you scrunching up, or your chin dropping to your chest, or your shoulders rounding forward, back off and use the strap. All right, you know you've got it right when you're able to bring the arm bones back of both arms, keep the right elbow pointing straight up to the ceiling and guiding that left elbow back in space. Your ribs should be melting in to your body, your lower ribs, instead of flaring them out. And you should be able to breathe. If you can't breathe, you know you've gone too far as well. We've got 3 more breaths here, so I'm going to stop talking so you can enjoy it. Okay, well done. So you should have felt a really strong stretch here. Well, I hope you did anyway. We're going to release, and then we're going to take it into a twist. So I just want you to stretch out the right leg. Bend the left, and you can keep it to the outside of the right leg or the inside of the right leg. It's whatever feels comfortable. Bring the left arm back in space. Take an inhale and raise the right arm. Now soften those front ribs in, lift the hip points in and up. Okay, so you're not thrusting your chest out. And then on the exhale, just take a simple wrap, and we're going to take a twist towards the left. 3 breaths here. So on your inhale, find that length, connect to the ribs, and then as you exhale, use the waist muscles. So that end of the exhale, when your abdominals hug in, that's what's going to help turn you. Should feel really, really good. Okay, come back. Let's straighten those legs out again. So we're going to do the other side. So we're going to take the left knee under the right this time, or cross left shin over the right shin. If you used your belt for the first time, grab hold of it now, or your sock, or whatever you had lying around. And then let's take that tricep stretch and ask yourself, right, what happened to my shoulders when I did this? What happened to my ribs? And then make those adjustments. Find your breath. And then once you've got that count going again, take the right arm out. Bring it behind you. See if you can interlace the fingers. If it doesn't feel good, use your strap. Okay, just ask yourself the same questions. Can I sit here comfortably? Are my ribs softening in? Can I press my arm bones back in space? Right elbow back in space, left elbow up towards the ceiling, back of the head pressing towards that arm, so I'm sitting nice and tall. Two more breaths. And try and get your 3 count inhale pressing into your back hand. See if you can get your breath there. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. So if it's not happening today, don't worry about it. You know, you will get there if you keep practicing. All right, release. And then we're stretching out that bottom leg again, coming into our twist on the other side. So bring the right arm back this time. Left arm reaches up. And then take your twist. Remember, each time you inhale, you're trying to lengthen your spine, and exhale, you're using your abdominals to make that turn. Okay, release. Come back to the front. Well done, guys. We are nearly done. We're just going to take a forward fold. Any trouble with practicing on carpet? Mat keeps wrinkling up. All right, so find that Dandasana, that nice seated position, and have a little bend in the knees. You can always straighten them in a minute if you've got the space, you know, in your hamstrings today to do it comfortably. All right, take an inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, draw the lower belly in. So the pit of the lower belly in, soften the front ribs in, and then reach forward. Maybe you'll grab your feet, maybe you won't. Don't worry about it. And then if you've got the room, you can start to push the heels away to straighten the legs. Don't lock out the knees though, try and avoid that. And then inhale, get that length through the sides of your waist, and exhale, soften it down, forward fold, Uttanasana. Wrong one, Paschimottanasana. I knew I had it wrong. Uttanasana is standing forward fold. Paschimottanasana is the seated forward fold. Two more breaths. All right, to come out, inhale, lengthen yourself forward. So reach your heart, your chest forward, and then bring yourself up. Super job, well done. So we're coming into Shavasana now. So you made it, well done. So roll yourself down. Ooh. And just let the legs come out, let them flop to the side. Take the arms away from the body again. Pull the mat to make sure your shoulders are away from the ears. And then completely let your body relax into the floor. Now I'm going to do a guided Shavasana, almost like a little meditation. So you can tune in, tune out as much as you want. Just do what works for you. So we'll be here for a few minutes. So I hope you've got time to join me for this last bit. Otherwise, I fully understand if you need to go, and thank you so much for taking the time to practice with me. So if you're still with me, let's continue to watch the breath. Continue that 3 count. I'm going to focus on the exhale. And all I want you to do on the exhale is tell yourself, I am enough. I am enough. And on the inhale, you're going to say to yourself, I am here. Inhale, I am here. So inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am enough. And that is it. I am here. I am enough. And I'll leave you with that for another couple of minutes. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Okay. Gently let go of those 2 affirmations or statements. Notice if it's made any difference to how you're feeling right now. Any shifts or changes in your energy. And And take that awareness also to how your body is feeling. And then let's start to wake ourselves up. Wriggle the toes and the fingers, maybe take an inhale and stretch the whole body. And then when you're ready to come up, knees bent, feet flat to the floor, or you can give yourself a hug. Roll over to the left or right side of your mat. And then come on up. Super job, guys. So, come to a comfortable seat. Sit up nice and tall. Soften those shoulders. Bring your palms together. Let's finish this one off. Take an inhale. Reach up high. Exhale, press the air away. Bring your palms back together. Give yourself a well-deserved bow. Good job, guys. Well done.